Hey everybody, this is RRPG here, and welcome back to my live stream of Trails of Cold Steel on the PC that's put out by Xseed Games and developed by Nihon Falcom. So yes, we're going to continue where we left off today, so let's not waste any time, and let's jump straight into it and get on with getting towards what we were working on, and that was the field study the last time when we were playing this. And I made some adjustments on my stream so that way that the quality will actually look a lot better when you watch it. And hopefully it does look a lot better this time around than it did from before. So let's go ahead and load our game. And like I said, the last time when we left off, we have Reen, we have Elisa, we have Elliot, and we have Laura forming our party. And we're about to undertake our field study. The first field study for this game, according to the timeline. So let's go ahead and get on with it. And before we head out on train, we need to go and supply ourselves. And if you guys remember, you can always hit the L button, the left shoulder button to switch between the characters if you want to. But you can also... where is that? Oh, here we go. Okay, we want to go to the academy because we want to go back to the engineering building as we want to get prepped up for this mission. Put some, customize our weapons and all that other good stuff. And I think if we want to customize our weapons, they will actually give us a stronger edge when it comes to fighting some of the enemies. But of course, the biggest problem is coming across against U materials. And we have some Sepith masks that we can get rid of for 120. Man, that's lame. Just to get some Mira. But, let's modify some of our quartz, but there's also that part where we need to activate some of their slots if we have the available things that we have on us. On some we do, but not everybody. Like, for Laura, for instance, I can't even open some for other things because we don't have the amount of Sepith that we need, but I did already open one for Elisa. I wonder what type of one that... But then again, we're kind of running short on our... Maybe... I think I want to stick Reen with red. And hello, Flame Chocobo. Welcome to the stream. And I really don't have that much Sepith, so I think we're going to need to kind of hold off on that, but we can also shop if we want to, and there's some EP charges in case if we need to refill our EP gauge on some of the characters. And there's also different types of Master Quartz that we can grab in case if we need to change some of the Master Quartz things within a character's you know, ornament. You get what I'm talking about. And maybe we can actually place that on one of the characters if we want to. But would that give him... I don't know. I think we'll just have to hold off on that for the time being, so let's just leave it as it is. Let's go see what else that the Square has to offer in terms of stuff that we can buy. We don't need to go to the cafe. We probably will need to go to the general store, see what they have for items that we can grab. So I hope everybody's having a good day, or having a good morning so far. Oh, probably better grab a few of everything in terms of the ingredients that we can buy to make food. Now, granted, I'm probably not going to be able to get everything because, you know, we do have a limit. Healthy liquor? Oh, boy. You want your students to get high on, or students get drunk on liquor? Oh, yeah, Flame Chocobo, the Nintendo Direct destroyed you in a good way or bad way? But if you ask me, it was probably a bad way. But yeah, I have a lot to talk about the Nintendo Direct today, but we'll talk about that once we get on with the gameplay. Oh, in a good way. Okay. And just so you guys know, I did a live stream of my reactions and some of my friends and Ferned's reactions off of Discord through the Geek Fighters public Discord server. And there's Group B, and there you see Machias and Juices have their backs turned to each other. And you see Fee still has that bedheaded, just lazy look in her eyes. Yes, they're going to Parm, and we're going to a different location within Erebonia. Yep, I figured we would, you know, have the camera pan towards those two, but I mean, that was bound to happen again since we're still early on in the story and they would still have that better attitude towards each other. Well, one of them's sick of them and their attitude. She's embarrassed to talk about it. Aw, poor Elisa. That's good news, Reen. Way to give him encouragement. Why does everybody have to keep making a big deal about it? Because you were making a big deal about it. It was a big misunderstanding, Elisa, or have you forgotten? Anyway, passenger service bound for Heimdallr now arriving on platform 2. So, I think Heimdallr is where we're going. And we will be getting in a lot more battles, just like part 1, or when we were going through part 1. Or are they going to Heimdallr and we're going to Parm? I can't remember. Now, there's a new gameplay mechanic that we're going to be introduced to when we get on the train that's going to take us to our location. Or while we're traveling on the train. And it deals with that deck of cards called Blade that we got from that general store or that pawn shop that we were in the previous playthrough. When it comes to Emma and Gaius, they'll do fine, but Fee, yeah, she is very mysterious. But yeah, I would agree. But I'm gonna be talking about the Nintendo Direct during the time when we're getting through the gameplay, especially when we're going through the fields and fighting. So we'll wait for that, and then I'll talk about my feelings of what I thought during the Direct. All right, we're going to Celtic. Like I said, I'm not really that too familiar with the lore of the Trails series or the Legend of Heroes anthology. Or Crossbell, or whatever. It's somewhere. And not only am I going to be talking about the Nintendo Direct, but I'm also going to be talking about the whole thing with me doing the double RPG side quests on my YouTube channel. I know some people are probably wondering why I'm doing that instead of just doing traditional 2 cents videos. And there are some things I felt that were sort of unexplained, which I will be talking about during this live stream. Now, whether or not you watch the live stream, which I will have archived to YouTube after this, that's literally up to, that's literally up to the viewer. But, I may just do a traditional Q&A this weekend or something, so that way people will know why I'm doing it. Yep, we are going to Celtic. All right, you're from Legram. Yeah, she's from one of the family of nobles. And when it comes to nobles, it seems that Laura is actually the one who can put her differences aside between nobles and commoners. Unlike Jusis. Oh, you think that the Thomas the Tank Engine theme is playing Flame Chocobo? I wouldn't be surprised if Nihon Falcom and PBS actually had a hand-to-hand deal to play the Thomas the Tank Engine theme for this game, if that were to be the case, but I highly doubt it. I highly doubt if they know each other. Nah, it's okay, Flame Chocobo. I know you were just teasing. Would be funny if that was the case, or at least have some music from Full Metal Alchemist playing for when Edward and Alphonse Elric are traveling on train or something, where it's less dangerous, if I were to say it in that context. Okay, so we're learning about the town of Celtic, and it's a market town at its core, and it's at the eastern province of Cruisin. A play on words for, like, Cruisin' USA. Oh, man, I want to get that game on the N64. Love that game, especially when it was on the N64 and the arcade. Anyway, it's in the eastern province of Cruisin, and has been a major trading hub for a very long time. It's also a major interchange station connecting Heimdallr with Barrowhand and even Crossbell. The area itself is known for having a large number of granaries, so more like a grain farm type of community. Maybe. Though this has of course been overshadowed in recent years by the aforementioned Grand Market. Virtually anything can be procured there, from farm produce, jewels, and Barrowhand furs to imported goods from afar. have I played the latest cruising game? No, I have not. If it's the one from the arcade, then unfortunately I don't have any big arcade chain that's right near where I live. The closest one that lives towards me would have to be Dave and Buster's, but that's all the way north from where I live, about a couple hours away, so I wouldn't be able to, you know, just freely drive over there and just play, you know, go to a Dave and Buster's and play that game if they have it. But I think Nintendo still has publishing rights for the cruising games to this day and age, if I'm not mistaken. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually re-released some of those cruising games or put in some of those ones that didn't get released on consoles, at least on the Switch. Because we do need some more arcade racers on home consoles. Yeah, and, they're still unsure about their instructor, which I have a suspicion she's probably on this train, too. I can't even hazard a guess as to what this field study might involve. Being part of our curriculum, though, it's a safe bet to assume it won't be easy. If it were, it would hardly be worth the trip. Personally, I'm looking forward to learning the true nature of our excursion. I suppose that is a good way to look at it. Well, we'll find the answer when we get there. We're supposed to drop by the inn as soon as we arrive. There should be an envelope waiting for us there with details on our mission. Yeah, that's right. Still, this whole trip seems eerily well planned out, don't you think? Even the station employees knew we were coming. That just goes to show how high the Academy's expectations are for all of you. Uh-oh, is she? Yes, she's here. Oh my goodness. And I forgot that the gal who plays Instructor Sarah Vallenstein is the same voice actor who played Casca in Berserk in the 90s. Yeah, hard to imagine she would be playing that tragic of a character. Oh, and speaking of Berserk, speaking of Casca, she finally regained her memories after the whole thing with the eclipse, and it's been about over 20 years since she finally regained her memory. After that, and her, you know, intelligence and composure. It's like, my god. And people think that manga is well written. I'm like, dude, it is brimmed with, you know, just a heavy, excruciatingly amount of violence. Well, Flame Chocobo, I'm not sure if the latest cruising game is at Dave & Buster's, but I would hazard a guess that it would be. But I can't confirm it because it's been about, I would say it's been about over a year and a half since I went to a Dave & Buster's. Anyway, let's continue. Looks like Group A is all present and accounted for. Good, good. And I'm relieved to see you two have, the two of you have finally managed to make up. You say that as if it's old news. Have you been spying on us the whole time? Oh, jeez. And even she knew it was a misunderstanding. She must be psychic. That's Sarah Vallenstein. She is very, very mysterious. So, what brings you here, Instructor? I thought you were planning on staying back at the Academy. Well, considering this is your first time out on the field, I assumed you'd be positively lost without me. So I decided to stick around at least until you finish checking in at the inn. Well, thanks, I guess, but it's like they still don't even trust her. And, you know, I don't blame them for not trusting her because, you know, she really hasn't been that fully hanging around the students that much because she just always seems chipper and hasn't really told anything to her students about what the full truth of Class 7's involvement is supposed to be, aside from the end of the orientation. I think Group B could have used your help a little more. Would it not have been better for you to accompany the others? But they'd be a nightmare to deal with. Oh, come on! Are you not an instructor, Sarah? I may still have to go to them, though, if those two get out of control, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Ha! See, she knew full well that Jusis and Machias wouldn't get along, but put them in the same group anyway. Well, somebody's got to... Well, I guess somebody has got to go out of their way to get everybody to, you know, work out their differences if they want to make this a very successful class. I did suspect as much, but it's hard to believe she'd confirm it so nonchalantly. Anyway, don't pay me any mind. You four feel free to keep talking. I didn't get any sleep last night, so I'm just going to take a little nap right here. Yeah, I wonder how much that deals with you drinking and just partying without taking your assignment very seriously as an instructor, because we know how much of an alcoholic you like to tend to be, instructor. What? Oh my goodness. She's taking a nap. She's asleep already? Incredible. I don't think I've ever seen someone less inclined to be an educator than her. Maybe we just better let her sleep. Or maybe we're better off just letting her sleep. I should probably wake her up when we get to Seldic, though. Anyway, we can talk, or we could save, and other things, but let's go ahead and hear what everybody has to say. When I came to the Academy, I never thought I'd find myself visiting the Grand Market of Seldic as part of my studies. I read about it before, but this will be my first time seeing the place in person. Really? Well, field study or no, then I guess it's still something to look forward to. Is there anything in particular you're hoping to see there? The gems and furs from Barahan, maybe? They say some of the highest quality goods produced by Barahan's artisans are sold at the Grand Market. That sounds like it would be worth seeing for sure, though somehow I doubt we'll be able to afford anything there. Still, if we get the chance, we should check it out together while we're in town. Heh, sounds like fun. Alright, let's talk to Elliot and see what he has to say. Hey, I almost forgot I had these. I just picked them up on a whim a while ago. Oh, the Pocket of Blade cards. Yeah, so this is where we're finally getting introduced to this mechanic. Oh, you have a pack too? I just got a set of my own from the pawn shop in Trista. Really? That's perfect then. How about we play a few hands? Seems like we still got some time to kill before we arrive. Do you know the rules? Yeah, they're not that complicated, so I don't think anyone here will have any trouble picking it up. Sounds like a good way to pass the time to me. Indeed, it seems like it could be an enjoyable diversion. Well, we gotta find some activity outside of just being brought into the field of combat, so I guess it makes sense. Okay, we're getting introduced to the mechanics of the Blade card game. So, when traveling by train, you could play the card game Blade with other members of your group to strengthen your bonds with them. So, this is a good way to strengthen the bonds between other characters, and especially with the females if you're looking forward to trying to start a relationship with one of the females if you want to. So, keep that in mind when you're playing this card game. And don't worry, it's not a children's trading card game like in Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. Which, speaking of which, when Dragon Ball Z Abridged Episode 60, which is supposed to be the 3-part finale of the entire Cell saga, or the entire saga from the start of Future Trunks to Cell games, it ends up, you know, as it ends up being throughout that whole storyline. I can't believe that Episode 60, the 3-part episode after that, that Team 4-Star is probably retiring from YouTube because of how much YouTube has changed within these past few years and how much they really have been anti-user-friendly with most of their practices. Only the first match with each character will increase your bond with that person, but this will occur whether you win or lose. Okay, we'll do that shortly, but let's go ahead and talk to the others. I do wonder what precisely these field study trips will involve. I can't even fathom a guess. Likewise, the weirdest part for me is the divide between Group A and Group B. Why would we split up and send to different places? And most bizarrely of all, Why were Machias and Juices placed in the same group? It's like they were just asking for trouble. Yeah, and I agree with you, Flame Chocobo. Google is a bunch of corporate douche pigs, or douchebags, or whatever you want to call them. I agree. It does seem quite illogical. I can only assume there's a hidden purpose to these trips beyond what we've been told. Perhaps multiple purposes requiring multiple groups to fulfill. Yeah, that's my best guess too. There has to be something going on behind the scenes here. Which is why I want to ask Instructor Sarah a few more questions, but, well... And she doesn't want any early birds getting the worm for her if she's taking a nap. But if there was an early bird coming to her, she'd probably look at it with a mean face and say, "Get out of here, you dirty bird!" Perhaps she fell asleep deliberately to avoid addressing such concerns. Our instructor is quite the formidable opponent. That's one way to describe her. Guess we're just going to have to work out the meaning of these field study trips on our own. Okay, let's go ahead and talk to her. She just really is fast asleep. Out like a baby. I've never seen such a child fall asleep quite as quickly as that. I know I sure couldn't. She must have a natural talent for sleeping. Well, let's not disturb her. But you don't know the half of it, guys, because Reen knows that she loves to drink booze and other types of liquor. But anyway, let's go ahead and play Blade. And we can challenge the others, and we can check out the rules and check out the cards before we get started. Blade is a card game in which two players take turns placing numbered cards on the field and vie for the greater sum total. Once both players have been dealt their hands, they must each draw a card from the deck and place it on the field. The player who draws the lower number must then proceed to place a card from their hand onto the field. The player who goes second must then play a card with a value that allows them to surpass their opponent's current total. Should both players have the equal total at any point, the field is cleared and both players must draw and play new cards. If the final card of the game is used to clear the field, the match will result in a draw. And let's go ahead and check our card. There are 3 types of cards in Blade. Blade cards are the most common. They are numbered from 1 to 7. Bulk cards remove the last card that your opponent placed on the field. As a special rule, a Blade card with a value of 1 can be used to bring back a card removed by the use of a bulk card. Mirror cards are used to switch the positions of the cards currently placed on the field. Bolt and mirror cards each have a value of 1 if they are the first card to be placed on the field. But be careful, using a bolt or mirror card as your last move is considered a foul, and will cost you the match. Interesting. Anyway, let's go ahead and challenge Elisa. So, it's basically a situation where you know...
Come on, draw a card.
You either win or lose, but it's not one of those things where you have to...
Same score? We better draw again. Looks like I'm going first.
Yeah, she did get a bulk card. Lucky turd.
What? You can't do that.
Oh! Says who? Says who?
What? You can't do that.
I think I did.
Oh, same score? We better draw again. Looks like I'm going first.
Ah! How many bulk cards do you have?
Oh, same score? We better draw again. After you, then.
Okay.
Oh, same score? We better draw. Looks like I'm going first.
How did you go... Unless if I was the lower one and I got the higher one, but who knows? Wow.
I won.
Ah, damn it! I was sure that I would have won that. Up. Let's try it again.
Go on, draw a card. After you, then. Oh, now you've done it.
That was very dirty.
Oh, now you've done it. Bolt. What? You can't do that.
I think she already did.
Bolt. I won.
Damn. Alright, let's challenge Elliot. Like I said, it's more of hit and miss when it comes to this type of game because you're never gonna know what to expect.
Hey, let's draw. Well, looks like I'm up first. Bolt. Bolt.
Keep doing that.
Bolt.
Oh, what the? You can't do that. What the hell?
Really? You're playing that now?
Damn right.
Mirror. Bolt.
Where are you getting these bolt cards?
Mirror.
This is bullshit.
Paused.
Oh, okay, good. I finally won one. So I think this is one of those things where you can only increase your link level a little bit on the first playthrough. So you can't on only just the first playthrough. After that, you really can't even do that. But anyway.
Then let us begin our duel.
Ha! And even Laura said it. Let us begin our duel. It's time to duel!
Please draw a card. The first move is yours.
Okay.
We're evenly matched. Let's redraw. The first move is yours. Well played.
At least she's more honorable.
I didn't expect that. Divine Bolt. Well played. Mirror. Mirror. We're evenly matched. Let's redraw. Then I'll make the first move. An excellent duel.
Oh! Game! Gosh, what's up with me getting defeated by the females?
Let's get started.
Yeah, this is bullshit. But I'm not gonna let it get to me. I mean, if it's like that, then like I said, it's one of those things where it's hit or miss, so
Looks like I'm going first.
if you win, then good for you. But if not, then don't worry about it.
Bolt. What? You can't do that.
Oh, I think I just did.
What? You can't do that. Mirror. Bolt. One more game.
Oh, ha! Finally got you. Ha ha. Anyway, let's go ahead and challenge Laura.
Then let us begin our
RNG Illuminati confirmed. Yeah, you got that right, Flame Chocobo.
Please draw a card. Then I'll make the first move.
I take that back.
Didn't expect that. Well played. Well played.
At least she's more honorable when it comes to her cards.
Well played. I am meant to beat. Well done.
Ah, yep. I got it that time. Anyway, let's go ahead and save our progress, and then we will head to the next destination. Ah. So we're making it to Celtic territory now. Love it how the background just keeps repeating it. You know, it kind of makes me wonder if what they're seeing out the window is just like just a plastered image that you would see from Adobe Photoshop just looping over and over and over again. You know, half the time I think that's the case, whereas a scene like that just happened just now is actually, you know, all pre-rendered, but when you take a look at what's in the distance, everything is just a still image that just keeps repeating over and over and over and over again with no stop. And yes, it does look very beautiful. Celtic territory. The rye planted last fall seems almost ready for harvesting. Now? I thought rye could only be harvested in the fall. Well, the soil in this area is supposed to be extra fertile due to the warmer climate, so things are a little different here. The view really is amazing, though. It almost looks like something out of a painting. Well, you're not too wrong there, Reen. It is a painting! Everything's in a still image. It just keeps repeating over and over and over again. Oh my god, it's reminding me of Superman 64. With how the everything in the background just looks like a big still image when you're just zooming in all of a sudden.
The Ministry of Railways wishes to thank all passengers for their patronage. This transcontinental train is bound for Crossbow. The next stop is Celtic.
Or Celtic, pardon me. I know some people like to get on me for saying Celtic instead of Celtic.
Passengers traveling to Bereahard, please change trains at this stop.
Sarah, wake up. Okay, now that actually looks pretty cool with there being an FMV taking place, that's where its opacity is kind of lessened in the background there, so that way it looks like it's giving off that motion that we're going somewhere. That's actually pretty cool. But yeah, we're in Celtic territory. Very lovely place. Definitely looks like a farm type of market. We must be at the farmer's market within Erebonia.
Wow, so this is Celtic. It seems like a really relaxing little town, though there are a lot more people here than I expected.
I imagine they've come for the Grand Market. Even merchants from other countries regularly come to see it.
Sounds like this place is as popular with the tourists as the capital then, but for a whole different set of reasons. Celtic's also widely renowned for their local beer, which they make using rye.
Oh, you don't say. And I assume that's why you came with us, because you want to have some beer before you have to go to Heimdall, right?
But you're all still minors, so I'm the only one here who gets to drink it.
Are you trying to make us jealous?
We don't really care, you know. Anyway, let me show you to the inn. It's, right over there.
Okay, let's go.
She's like, haha, I get to have beer and you don't. I told you. She's an alcoholic. A raging alcoholic.
Well, I hadn't expected to see the Purple Lightning herself in such a quiet little town.
Purple Lightning? From what the stranger said, I'm guessing he's referring to Sarah Valentine.
And the chicks with her seem like an interesting lot, too.
The chicks. I'm sure he's referring to the flock of green students, you know, who haven't really been out on the battlefield that much.
No time for that now. I have more pressing matters to attend to.
You know, with Trails of Cold Steel 4 being worked on and possibly going to release this year for the PlayStation 4, it makes me wonder what other characters from the Trails series who are going to appear in that game. Like, are we going to see Estelle and Joshua actually appear in that game if something bad is to happen to Rain Schwarzer from what the teaser image when they introduced or announced the game was first shown, where he looked like he had red eyes and like some demonic form just has taken over him? I don't know. Hey there, Margot, or Margot. Well, if it isn't Sarah, what are you doing here? I knew the kids were coming, but I didn't think you'd be coming with them. Oh, I just figured I'd help them get settled in before I left. Whatever, you just want to have the beer. It's a pleasure to meet you. We're first-year students from Thor's Military Academy, Class 7. I'm Reen. I'm Elisa. Thank you for putting us up. The pleasure's all mine, I assure you. I'm Margot, the owner of this humble establishment. Sarah here has taken care of your arrangements. Come, I'll show you to your room. Thank you, ma'am. Much obliged. But once we get to the room, I'm pretty sure one of them is going to have a hissy fit. I'll leave it to you, then. Louise, can you get some beer and snacks? Yep, she's going to get plastered. This is the room you all are going to be staying in tonight. Wait, we're all? Oh boy, yep, it's going to haunt her. Yeah, this is a joint room. There are 4 beds. One side for the ladies and the other side for the men. More than enough space for our needs. Thank you very much. But there are 4 beds, which means... Are you suggesting we sleep in the same room as the boys? Well, I think Elisa tends to forget that when it comes to military academies, even there has to be a co-ed type of establishment where they have to sleep in the same quarters, even though they, you know, don't sleep with each other, but they sleep on their own separate beds. I had my doubts about that too, but Sarah insisted, so that was that. I broke the beds into groups of 2 to make things less awkward, but that was about the best I could manage. Well, she at least did a good job there. I don't... This is going to be a problem. I don't have a problem with it personally, but I can't imagine the girls will be quite as accepting. Elisa, I don't believe we have a choice here. We are military students. We must allow the prospect of mixed gender accommodations to... We mustn't allow the prospect of mixed gender accommodations to phase us. And there, boom, Laura said it right there for me. She took the words right out of my mouth. Thank you, honey buns. I know that, but in the army, women share rooms with men. It's the fact of life, born of necessity. You will need to adjust to this reality sooner or later, and this does seem a perfect opportunity. Okay, I get it. Oh, boy. There she goes with that stern look on her face. She's like, I'm gonna see about you if you come near me. But if either of you 2 comes anywhere near our beds, I wouldn't dream of it. Likewise. I wasn't talking about you, Elliot. I was referring to a certain someone else who already has a history of this kind of thing. Oh, man. Reen. You certainly cannot even catch a break with this woman. Maybe if we chain Reen to the bed. I thought she'd gotten over that by now. Well, looks like it wasn't going to be that easy for her to get over. Huh, guys? She still has that look on her face looking at Reen saying, "See about you." Guess not. Oh well. Anyway, now that your room's all sorted, let me give you this. Oh, the field study envelope for the month of April. And don't worry, guys, this isn't the first field study that you will experience in the game, because there is another... I mean, there are other field studies that actually take place in this game, too, but I don't think that the characters, you know, will be in the same group or whatnot. I think the students are going to change, so... That way they can all get accommodated with each other, and they all learn about each other, and make things a little less awkward. Isn't that our Academy's emblem? Does this contain the details of our assignment here? That's what I've been told, yes. Well, if you need anything during your stay, just let me know. For now, I'll leave you to get settled in. Alright, shall we look inside? Yeah. Okay, let's see what we've got. Field Study Day 1, Assigned Tasks. Okay, so this is our, this is the same thing with what we did during the whole Sunday bit, where it was a free day. We got some tasks that are given to us, and we need to complete them. East Eldic Highway Monster. And the client is named Cyro, or Ciro. A dangerous monster has appeared near the highway and is making it very difficult for us to harvest our crops. Could someone please help us? Monster is a scary dinosaur. Oh, what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age! But not the scary dinosaur, though. Anyway, its location is at a plateau near the East Celtic Highway. My house is alongside the East Celtic Highway, so please stop by if you can. Ciro. Okay? Any bright ideas? And here is our client. Samus, huh? Is this Samus Aran giving us our assignment for this? I need someone to replace a malfunctioning orbit light and a road lamp for me. For more details, see me at the Oddvin's Arms and Orbital Factory. Samus. Samus, how can we meet you? You're up in space being a solitary bounty hunter, so I don't think we can actually meet you if you're within the same universe. Which, that's not possible! Anyway, for the common cold. And this is from Father Zirbel. I've run out of some of the ingredients I need to make a particular medicine. I would very much appreciate it if someone could procure more for me. Please speak with me in the church for further details. Father Zirbel. Okay, so we have to go to the church. So we have 3 assignments. 1 is optional and 2 are mandatory for progression in the story. Study area is defined as a 200 selge radius around Celtic. Each student must record his or her activities daily to be remitted to the instructor upon request. Yep. Pretty much what it was going to be. So this is our field study? It just looks like a list of menial tasks to me. There's a monster elimination request at least, but that's the most we have. I see, so that's her angle. Excuse me? Did you figure something out? Oh no, it's nothing. We should go and talk to this over with Instructor Sarah. She probably stuck around specifically to answer any questions we might have. You may be right. And while we're at it, we can grill her about this communal room she's signed up for us too. Or signed us up for too. Well, we're in a military academy, so it's something we're just gonna have to, you know, deal with. There she is. So let's talk to her. There she goes. There she is, guys. Getting plastered. And you can actually see her blushing, so yeah. She's heavily drunk.
Nothing hits the spot quite like a cold beer.
She looks like she's having the time of her life.
And look at her! She's wiggling back and forth. She's not sober. Someone call the police and give her a field sobriety test to see if she can actually stand on one leg and count to 30.
Oh, you kids are still here? I'll just be hanging back and enjoying myself. So go on ahead and get started.
Don't mind me.
We have questions for you, though. What's with these field study tasks?
I'm glad they're not as difficult as I was expecting, but they're just so...
Well, it makes sense you'd have some doubts. You only need to do the ones it says are required, though. Feel free to just ignore the rest if you want. I don't care.
Well, I wouldn't ignore the optional ones because they are, you know, mandatory in case if you want to get some good rewards out of them.
Up to you how much or how little you want to do. Stop being so irresponsible and...
Wait. These kinds of decisions are as much a part of our field study as the tasks themselves.
Oh, what?
What do you mean?
You have 2 days.
Oh, she was drunk and now she's fully sober all of a sudden? Gosh. I guess she can easily clean her blood alcohol levels, that in a cinch, just like that.
Trista isn't far from here, so you'll be returning to the academy tomorrow evening. Until then, you can spend your time here, however the four of you see fit. Every decision rests on your shoulders. I won't be forcing you to do a thing.
Okay, so what's up? You've had this look in your eyes like you've pierced something together. Well, does this relate in some way to our free day this past week? Specifically to your activities during that time? Very observant. Yeah, now that you mention it. Exactly. I spent this past free day doing various tasks on behalf of the student council. And while one of them did involve going back into that old schoolhouse, the rest were just simple requests for assistance from the locals. In other words, exactly the sort of thing we've been asked to do here. And by the time I'd taken care of everything, I felt like I'd learned a lot about Trista and the academy. So I think we've been given similar tasks here for a similar reason. That would definitely make sense. I mean, all I know about Celtic is what I've read. There's probably a lot we can learn by actually coming here and helping people out like this. Indeed, the land of Erebonia is quite vast. This may be an invaluable opportunity to gather local knowledge of a place we might otherwise never have visited. Yeah, exactly. So, whatever various and sundry things Instructor Sarah may have planned for us, I say we just work our way down the list while immersing ourselves in Celtic culture, taking in as much as we can. Sounds good to me. Count me in. This actually sounds pretty exciting when you put it that way. Shall we depart then? Looks like everybody is in agreement here. Anyway, it says, during field study periods, the party is assigned a variety of tasks to complete, much like on Reen's free days. Details on the tasks can be confirmed via the Quests tab of the notebook. When all tasks with a request mark have been completed, the story will advance. Now, like I said, this is just like that free day from the past week that Reen was involved in, that he could go through the blue ones, which are the optional ones, where the red ones are the story-based ones that you would need to complete in order for a story to progress. So, I tend to take care of the optional ones first before we get on with the story ones. But whatever you guys do, that's literally up to you. Anyway, note, however, that any quest listed as a short time limit will become invalid when this happens. So, we really don't even get that much of a map here within the town of Celtic. So, let's go ahead and go into the note and let's take a look at the quest. So, we want to go inside of the church and talk to Father Zerbel and see what we can do for him. So, we're going to need to find this church somewhere around town. And there, I think we found it. Yep. So let's go ahead and talk to the Holy Father and see what he has to say. Excuse me, are you Father Zerbel? That's correct. And you would be... Oh, I see. You must be the students who will be helping with my request. That's us. We came here from Thor's Military Academy. I suspect as much. Thank you for taking the time to come and speak with me. I'd like to request that you collect the ingredients I need to make some medicine. Do you have the time to do this request for me? Oh, sure. We got plenty of time. I mean, doing the requests based on the side ones, or the optional ones, like I said, take care of those first. My thanks. Can I ask what sort of medicine these ingredients will be used for? It's essential medicine to deal with the common cold by strengthening the body's immune system. Many people tend to catch it during spring and fall, when the temperature switches between hot and cold, you see. Yeah, I can definitely relate to that, because it seems like every May I'm always bound to catch a cold. And it's no fun. That seems like that's always been the case for the past couple years for me. When it comes, when it comes to the month of May, I always tend to catch the cold. But by the time when E3 comes around the next month in June, I tend to be fully better and ready to go for that type of thing. But I've been doing my best to eat more fiber and, drink plenty of orange juice every single morning, so that way my vitamin C levels are up and at 'em. The first is a medicinal plant known as a bear claw, which grows in humid areas. It's not common to find them growing in Celtic, but you can still get them at the Grand Market. There's a drugstore run by a man named Flint. Flame Chocobo, you said Flintstones. I wouldn't be surprised if Flint is actually referring to Fred Flintstone inside the Grand Market here in Celtic. I'll note that down. The other ingredient I need is Imperial Carrots. You can get these from a farmer named Paul, who lives in a farmhouse on the West Celtic Highway. So yes, we will be getting on the Celtic highways around here, and we will be doing a lot of grinding during our field studies. Again, simply tell them that I sent you, and he should share some with you. Understood. That should be it, then. Is there anything else you would like me to go over again? No, that's fine. Which of our two destinations should we make our way to first? Doesn't seem like it'd matter. Yeah, I agree. We'll be off then, Father. I will be awaiting your return. Alright, so we're starting the one that's in blue. Get the ingredients to cure the common cold. And we'll go through that much later. But let's go ahead and find the Celtic Grand Market. Yep, there it is. Like I said, it's like going into the farmer's market for this type of thing. Alright, so we can talk to some of those people. They're just... Well, let's see what Merchant Lizzie has to sell here. It looks like it's a bunch of plates and cups and teacups and kettle pots. Or just souvenirs. Yeah. And one of them, at least, can actually increase our stats a little bit. But we don't have enough mirror on hand, so we're going to need to be fighting some of the enemies in order to actually get some more mirror on hand, if we wanted to buy some of the stuff. So yeah, in case if you have forgotten, the green areas within this thing, or within, shop districts, those are the ones that you can actually, buy from. So those are the shops that you can actually purchase items and other assets if you want to. Some of them, anyways. Doesn't seem like it's one of those...
Wow, check out all these stalls.
I guess when the active voice goes along, you can't really talk to anybody. See what you have to say. Imported goods. Oh, interesting. Some books that we can actually read. And there's an acerbic tomato. And there is an accessory right here in case we need to increase our dexterity. Anyway, I think this is a guy we need to talk to actually get that ingredient. Yep, Old Man Flint. Welcome. Anything specific you're looking for? This must be the store that Father Zerbel mentioned. We're here on behalf of Father Zerbel, actually. He asked us to come here to collect a bear claw from you. Oh ho, is that so? Here you go, then. So, yes, we got the bear claw, and now we need to go to the West Celtic Highway to actually get that one item for Father Zerbel. I can't remember the name of it because the name just slipped out of my mind. But who cares? It'll all come back to me once we find it. Nice outfit there, sir. Anyway, let's go. Aw, some stuffed animals! I think that's one of the characters from the Legend of Heroes that's to the far right, if I had to guess, or from Ys. Even some of the plushies actually are acted as accessories that you can get. Wow. That's awesome.
I admit it has a certain charm.
See what this shop has to offer. Honey syrup for cooking. And we only have 20 Mira left, but we already have enough in our inventory, so we don't need to get any more. We only have 20 Mira on us, by the way, so I don't want to go too carried away. Okay. And some of these accessories, they actually do have some status warding effects on them, so. We'll come back here once we get more Mira. But now we need to find the West Celtic Highway. And if we want to find the West Celtic Highway, I assure you that this is the direction where we need to go. Who might you be? I don't recall seeing any of you around here before. Do you have some form of identification? Soldiers? Wait, I think I recognize those uniforms. We're students from Thor's Military Academy. We're currently visiting Celtic as part of our field study. Thor's? You mean the Thor's? Now that you mention it, I do recognize the emblem. My apologies for any rudeness. We're members of the Cruisin' Provincial Army. Our main duty is to keep the peace in Celtic. So basically, the Celtic Police! Their military forces are operated by the ruling lord of each province, charged with maintaining security. They function as a secondary unit, separate from the formal Imperial Army. I never heard of any field study program at Thor's. Seems a little early in the year for something like that, too. But many graduates of your academy currently serve in our ranks. So you be sure to uphold the academy's good name. Don't do anything you shouldn't. Thank you very much. We'll be sure not to let you down. I'm glad to hear it. Take care now, and keep your noses clean. And less itchy, too. We will. That concludes our patrol. Back to the guardhouse, men. Yes, sir! Yeah, you get marching away. Man, he was scary. If they're the Cruisin' Provincial Army, does that mean they're ruled by, yeah, Juice's family, the Albarez? Celtic is the northern part of their territory, after all. I think it would be best for us to keep out of their way. We should return to the task at hand. Yeah, I can concur to that. Yep, so we're going on the West Celtic Highway, and since we're on the West Celtic Highway, we can actually...
Windmills sure make the town feel pretty laid back.
we can actually fight some of the enemies here.
True. The scenery is surprisingly relaxing.
And honestly, guys, it's much better that you actually do fight, so that way you can gain experience. Just like any normal JRPG fashion, or RPG fashion.
Now's our chance. We can do this.
Here we go.
I can do this. Now.
Got it.
My turn.
Nice going. And Laura is pretty strong with her large broadsword.
Here we go.
Let's motivate our students, or our...
Right. Turn to flames. Burn. Go.
Good!
Of course. Hey.
My turn.
Got it.
That's that. Let's keep moving.
Okay, so you can actually see that Reen and Elliot are at a pretty good advantage with where they are in terms of their experience points for now, as Elisa and Laura, they have some catching up to do. But yeah, we're getting back to what we do best, guys. But anyway, since we're on the topic, I mean, since we're currently, you know, doing some fighting and all that, might as well go ahead and talk about my thoughts on the Nintendo Direct.
My turn.
Oh, she can do an armor breaker. Oh, that's cool.
Shatter. Now. I'll take you up.
Oh, that's cool.
Right.
Anyway, my thoughts on the Nintendo Direct. Personally, from the Nintendo Direct, I had my expectations low. And honestly, it's the best thing that you can do, is just keeping your expectations low, that you really don't,
Here we go.
that you really don't want to make it seem like you want to be, you know, fully excited, and then your expectations are just completely broken. But some of the announcements that they had during the Nintendo Direct, they actually really, you know, did well with surprising me. Like, if I wanted to say what really surprised me during the Nintendo Direct, then I would say maybe... Okami HD was one of those, even though it was a port from the other systems. But in terms of Nintendo's first-party content, I think we can all agree that the new Super Smash Bros. Was something that we were all not expecting. And rightfully so. But it just seemed like the whole time when I was doing the Nintendo Direct, and when I had my friends who were on there, I know that some of them are not even Nintendo fans like I am. But the thing is that they just didn't seem like that they had that much fun. Well, it looked like that they had much fun, but they seemed like they were mostly disappointed, and especially one of them seemed like he ruined the experience for me. But as soon as I looked on it more, I mean, yeah, sure, there were some things that were disappointing, but it wasn't like, you know, it was a total disappointment. Like, for me personally, I'm excited that Luigi's Mansion is coming back with a remake, as well as Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, but at the same time, it makes me question, why is that game, or why are both games on the 3DS when they really should be on the successor system, which is the Nintendo Switch? Because you figure that with the Nintendo Switch, that they would actually get more people inclined to actually buy the game on there, especially if they're remakes, at least.
I did it.
Awesome.
All right.
Reen and Elliot leveled up greatly. But yeah, that was, I mean, for games like that to appear on the 3DS, I mean, I have nothing against the 3DS, But, you know, the 3DS, it's eventually going to ride off into the sunset at some point.
My turn.
So, it isn't going to last forever. But if you ask me, I think Nintendo is just wanting to milk everything dry with the 3DS until its steam is fully run out. I mean, that's literally how it is with any business, if you ask me, because they're going to be like that, in a sense. That they'll just run something dry, even though if it may still have some steam left in them. Ooh. Better get an item restoration here for Reen here, because he's not doing so hot. But some of the ones that actually did appear on the Nintendo Direct, the ones that I'm really excited about, you know, like Smash Brothers and even some of the other games that were announced, like, I would say...
You have my thanks.
Like, even the 3DS port, I mean, some of the Wii U ports that appeared on there, that are going to appear on there, I look back and I say to myself, you know, I understand that people would get pissed off that 3DS, I mean, that there were games that are on the Wii U that are being ported to the Nintendo Switch, but at the same time, we gotta remember, and even Nintendo, but in their defense, Nintendo was on the same page too, that the Wii U wasn't a really big system seller, so, you know, it kind of, there's one side where, you know, it doesn't make sense, but on the other side, it's like, you know, they do have some good points with where they're coming from, or why they decided to actually bring those games to that particular system.
We should keep going.
But if you ask me personally, am I going to buy those games when they come out, especially Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr.'s story, as well as Luigi's Mansion on the 3DS? Oh yeah, you can guarantee that I'll do that. I mean, like I said, it would have been nice if they actually appeared on the Nintendo Switch, or at least if there is a new Mario & Luigi game that's being worked on for the Nintendo Switch, as well as a new Luigi's Mansion. Then yeah, I'll be excited for that too. And I know that I was talking to my good friend 16-Bit Jeff of the Game Riffers, or not the Game Riffers, but the Geek Fighters, and he asked me whether or not if Nintendo is actually testing the waters with how well those remakes will actually sell on the Nintendo 3DS before doing anything else with, you know, trying to bring them to the Nintendo Switch. But on the same, at the same time, I kind of say to myself, you know, what's the point, seeing as how the Nintendo Switch is already a, you know, a major system seller at this point, and it wouldn't make the slightest bit of sense that they would actually do that.
I can do this. Turn to flames. Burn! Go!
And even Kirby Star Allies, that's another one that I'm looking forward to as well.
Nicely done, Elisa.
Same to you. That was great.
Ah, high five. And some of the enemies respawn when they're in this vicinity, too. I mean, yeah, there were some disappointing things about that Direct, but I wouldn't say that it was a complete disappointment. If anything, I would say that it was
It's my turn.
average, while there were some exciting things, but at the same time,
My turn.
there it seems like there could have been some more things that, you know, that would have been better. But at the same time, I think we also got to remember too that when it comes to Nintendo Directs, not everything is going to be, you know, a great sensation. I mean, there's always going to be something that's going to not go so swell towards these, towards everybody's minds. I mean, a lot of people say that they really enjoyed the Nintendo Direct and they're really happy with what they got, but at the same time, I think they also need to look at some of the things that, lots of others are very underwhelmed or disappointed by. The name of the enemy is Death Cargo. But yeah, Crash Insane Trilogy, I'm excited for that, but, like I said, some of my friends just... It seems like whenever people say Nintendo should be getting some of these games onto their system, if they want to counterbalance the third-party situation. But then, all of a sudden, they just go by them saying they're just ports. Well, yeah. I mean, ports are going to occur, but at the same time, I would like there to be original material, kind of like with what Nintendo and Sega did back in the 90s.
You still have a lot of training to do.
Where their games were much different from each other and they weren't exactly carbon copies, to make things more fresh and more lenient to what they had to deliver in terms of their content.
The advantage is ours. Here we go.
But yeah, if you ask me, I am really looking forward to getting those games when they release, because, when it comes to me, I'm still a Nintendo fan at heart, but I do like to give, its competitors the benefit of the doubt too. Like, for instance, I'm going to be picking up Sea of Thieves for the Windows 10 store when it releases. And some things, if some games don't appear on the Nintendo Switch, then that's fine. But, some people, they really need to be careful with what they say and what they're trying to plead at certain companies to get their games onto their platform, because with the whole situation with the A Hat in Time, a lot of people were really mad at Gears for Breakfast for not getting that game onto the Nintendo Switch. But the thing that the people who are whining and complaining about that, they gotta realize that the Nintendo Switch, it doesn't support Unreal Engine 3. It only supports Unreal Engine 4 and Unity at this point. And I think Game Maker Studios 2 was also another supported engine that was announced this week. So, if Nintendo wants to get Unreal Engine 3 support onto the Nintendo Switch, then they need to get that update in there, as soon as possible.
Not bad.
So that way they can alleviate those problems, if you ask me. But overall, like I said, I thought it was an alright Direct. Wasn't really the best thing that Nintendo has done. I mean, they certainly had a lot of other better Directs. I know a lot of people said that they thought it was a really strong Direct, but for me personally, I would say that it was alright. I mean, there were things that excited me, but there were things that I was scratching my head about, and some other things that were just disappointing me. But like I said, I most certainly can't wait for some of these games to come out. And I was also talking to 16-Bit Jeff about this. When it comes to the Nintendo Switch, when it comes to the Nintendo 3DS, riding off into the sunset with its, over millions of units sold worldwide, he thinks that the Nintendo Switch's portability factor is going to be the Achilles heel in the future, because he's going to believe that Nintendo is going to wonder whether or not if they're treating the hybrid console as either a console or a handheld. And honestly, they really need to stick with... They really need to be they really need to stick with both factors, but at the same time, I really think that they need to do more with making sure that they actually go by that standard, with getting games that are, strictly for just, the portable mode, as well as for one strictly being on just the docked mode, and for both that are in between. Okay, let's do Radiant Dance on a lot of these. Yeah, the S-break abilities, they're pretty much like the limit break abilities, like what you see in Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII. But, you know, that's one of the things that I don't understand. That if they have, like, a limit break like S-break, wouldn't it be better to use that when their gauge goes all the way fully? Because being allowed to use it at any time they want to, that just seems kind of excessive, if you ask me.
It's my turn.
Wait, what's Blessed Arrow? Oh, healing allies. I see. Oh, that's cool.
Turn to flames. Burn. Go.
My turn. Give it up, everyone.
Give that to Rain, because he's gonna need that. You know, if they're going after him.
I can do this.
Here we go. Right.
Ooh.
Arcus activate.
But I really hope that Nintendo sticks to their guns with trying to keep to their promise about the Nintendo Switch with what it's supposed to be. A platform that's for both portable and, you know, mainline docked console.
Okay, safe for now.
And not leave people wondering what the hell they're doing, because that was what killed the Wii U. And yeah, they did get Rocket League on Switch, but still, with a company like Panic Button Studios porting that game, that was a lot of work to get something like that onto the Switch. So, like I said, Nintendo needs to get that programming and stuff in there to where they can actually get Unreal Engine 3 to be fully adaptable to the Nintendo Switch, or else they're going to have more problems in the future. But, you know, for some of these developers and some of these publishers, you know, money talks. And they will get to that point where they will actually say, okay, we will actually do it if you pay us to. But I still say that for those who have been whining and crying for, you know, like a hat in time to come to the system, they really, to all those people whining, they really need to relax and just wait. Because, you know, it is possible that that game is coming to the Nintendo Switch, but an outside studio like Panic Button is probably working on it. But, you know, Nintendo can't allow Panic Button to port every game from one system onto the Nintendo Switch. And, you know, some people, you know, going back to me talking to 16-Bit Jeff, we had this argument where he says that if Nintendo Switch can only run third-party games in 30 frames per second, then that shows that it's a really bad port. And that's why I highly tend to disagree, because, I mean, sure, it would be nice that games that should be in 60 frames a second, but if a game runs at 30 and its performance is just fine and there doesn't appear to be any hiccups or any performance issues, then as long as everything is still fine, then I'm just fine with it running well. And that just goes to show that it's not a fully inferior port. I mean, when I see an inferior port, it's just when they don't take advantage of a system seriously. Because if they're not taking advantage of everything seriously for that system when they're working on games and all that, then that just shows you that the game that's coming out on there is not going to be a really good game when it releases. Because you have to be very serious with actually being adamant that you need to get things done, or else you're going to have a lot of people that are not going to sing high praise towards you. I mean, and some people say that Nintendo owners don't even buy third-party games. I say that's horseshit, because we do want to buy third-party games, but the thing is, we don't want to buy games that are gimped as hell, and, you know, not that that makes them unplayable. Because if they do that, then that's gives that company a bad image, and you know, not a lot of people are going to give them a fair shake. I mean, it's the same thing with, you know, if PlayStation, you know, if Sony and Microsoft fans were in the same boat. You know, if they were suffering the problems that Nintendo was suffering right now, then
It's my turn.
a lot of people are just not going to give them a second chance.
Here we go.
And I just kind of find it to be highly questionable as to why Nintendo is always on the short end of the stick when it comes to some things, like when it comes to third-party games, or whether if it comes to some of the ports from the Wii U that are coming onto the Nintendo Switch.
You fought well, Ellie.
It's all I can do to keep up with you. I did it!
Okay, detector can now be used. But as I said, overall the Direct was alright. Wasn't really the best thing that was done, but I guess Nintendo is in that boat where they just want to save their big announcements and for E3 because they know that they'll actually get people excited for events like those. And you know, I'm fine with that. I mean, if the new Smash Brothers was a tease for what Nintendo is doing for, or what they're going to unveil at this year's E3, then I'd say that was a good start. Because honestly, I believe that the big announcements, or like their Nintendo's big focal points for E3 this year, are going to be the Pokemon Switch game as well as the new Smash Brothers. Because from what we heard, the new Smash Brothers that's being developed for the Nintendo Switch, it's a brand new game. It's not a port of the Wii U or the 3DS versions. And Masahiro Sakurai confirmed it today. Or yesterday, rather.
I've got you. It's my turn. Turn to flames. Burn!
Now, I think it's also time for me to get on to the next point of something that I wanted to talk about. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was why I started doing the whole double RPG side quest. Well, to tell you the truth, why I've been doing the double RPG side quest is because I've got burnt out with doing double RPG 2 cents videos, and there's always good points where I need to bring about a spiritual successor to something that I actually enjoy. And I figure that doing the whole thing with side quests where everything is like I'm in front of the camera and then I deliver just one news story piece on a daily basis, and me being in front of the camera a lot more often, I think that'll actually get me more practice with, you know, being in front of the camera and delivering my thoughts to you in person, and everything is unscripted. I know I have a hard time with trying to speak because I'm more prone to speak things that are scripted, but if it's better for me to get more practice doing this to where I can actually speak more on camera instead of having to use a script, then there you go.
My turn. Now's your chance.
So yeah. So that's going to be the thing. I'm trying to aim for like something that I do on a daily basis on the weekdays and not on the weekends, because I want to spend my time with live streaming, but also on the weekdays and weekends, when I'm not working on those things, then that's when I work on the big, meaty projects, you know, like what I'm doing for my Final Fantasy retrospective, or whatever other retrospectives that I have working on.
You still have a lot of training to do.
And when it comes to the whole thing on the double RPG side quests, it's mostly based on news stories that are pertained around mostly JRPGs, but there may be some Western RPGs that I might make a mention of too.
My turn.
but that's going to be like a very rare occurrence.
An opening. My turn. Huh?
Go. There.
It's my turn.
My turn. Oh, we did it.
Not bad.
So yeah, that's the whole thing with what's going on with Double RPG side quest. And I said I'll probably do a Q&A
We can do this.
where I'm on camera where I actually talk about it a bit more. But I think in due time that it'll actually be a lot better for me to do that kind of thing. So that way I won't have that much of a problem when it comes to working on them in the future.
Right.
Of course.
Ooh, bad.
Right.
Turn to flames. Burn. Go.
But yeah, right now I'm still grinding.
My turn.
Maybe until we get to at least level 10 or level 11 for our characters is when we'll start to progress even more. Oh gosh, you got us in confused stasis again.
Right.
Right. Huh?
Ooh, ouch. Dude!
Right.
Oh, you missed.
My turn. Hey.
Bad. Bad.
Too slow.
Thank you!
That's that.
About time. Asshole. And Alyssa's gotta level up.
Nicely done.
I think this takes us back to Trista territory if we were to go in that direction. Oh, hey, we got some more Sepith that we desperately needed. And as with any battle, you get Sepith out of that too, so don't be afraid to actually get those if you get the chance. Yeah, I really thought that the whole thing with the Crash Insane trilogy was going to be exclusive for PlayStation 4 because it's more lineage to Naughty Dog's past work. But it coming out on the other platforms, you know, it was very nice. I mean, if Activision wants to get more money, then there you go.
There. Go.
I've got you. I can do this. Turn to flames. Burn. Now.
And yeah, Flame Chocobo, this is why I don't like timed exclusives either, because timed exclusives, it's just, that's just inevitably ruining a consumer's patience when it comes to a game that's supposed to come out on a platform, you know, inevitably speaking.
Arcus activate.
Of course. Huh? You have my thanks.
I can do this. Fire. Now.
All right.
Nicely done, Elisa.
Same to you. That was great.
Could they not even get in a clap sound effect? Seriously, no sound effects for when they're clapping? That's lame. But of course, there are games that are timed you know, some games that are just going to be full-on exclusives to platforms. Like Bayonetta 2 and 3, they're going to be exclusive to Nintendo platforms moving forward, unless if Nintendo has something to say about it. Unless if it decided to relieve the games from their Nintendo platform exclusivity, then they're going to remain on the Nintendo platforms from now on. Once you get a job, you'll be getting more games? Oh, yeah. We all need a job in order to earn some money if we want to get stuff that we actually want. Because nothing is cheap in this day and age. Like this game, for instance. Like, in this game, in order to buy the stuff that are in the shops, you gotta work your job and, you know, get paid for what you're doing. Because otherwise, if you don't do your job, then you're not going to be able to earn any Mira in this game.
Let's go. Of course.
But yeah, I'm not really talking that much after, you know, explaining those things. But then again, I think I already talked as much as I could for now. But once as more story comes along, then we'll have a lot more to discuss.
It's my turn. Turn to flames. Burn. Go.
Nicely done, Elisa.
Same to you. That was great.
Alright, Reen is at level number 10. Like I said, make sure that you're grinding your characters. You want them to be strong to take on you want to make sure that they're on more that they have more levels on them so that way they can take on stronger adversaries much later. And you know, one of the things that I was actually expecting to hear from the Nintendo Direct that we had back on Thursday is I was really hoping that whatever it was Hideki Kamiya was actually teasing for the Nintendo Direct, that it was actually a Switch port of the Wonderful 101, because I thought that would actually make the most sense that that game has a chance of coming on there. Now, granted, it does look like it has a better chance of coming onto the system, seeing as how one image of Wonder Green having a Nintendo Switch controller in his hand was actually teased during the whole image reveal of what Platinum Games showing their support to the Switch was about. But at the same time, it's like, hopefully it is coming with some new content updates, as well as some things to actually make the game feel more accommodating to that of the Nintendo Switch and not just on something that's like the Wii U gamepad or whatnot. Alright, we'll have Laura do her powerful strike again. Radiant Dance.
It's my turn. Right.
Now, how long am I going to be doing the assignments? No, probably we'll try our best to get both of them done for today. Well, all 3 of them. But if not, then we'll finish the rest of them tomorrow. Which I'm probably going to be aiming to do another episode, probably around the same time tomorrow or something. But I will let you guys know, and I'll update you through social media when I do go live. Oh, he got... Oh, Flame Chocobo, I knew that Hideki Kamiya, he actually posted that post on Twitter demanding Nintendo that they should have a D-pad on the Switch Joy-Cons, or else. And that... But I didn't even know that... I didn't even know that there were those who... That he got bombarded with users posting the same things. That they were actually demanding the same thing. Now... I'm not sure whether or not Hideki Kamiya was actually just being facetious or he was just kidding, which I assume that he was mostly just kidding around, but, you know, that is one thing that I really hope for the Nintendo Switch, that they actually include that, having like a D-pad of some type when it comes to not only for like the inevitable revision of the Nintendo Switch, but, you know, but make sure that the D-pad is also included if they want to have that certain feature where there is a D-pad on the system. But I know a lot of people can attest to, and I can attest to it as well, that when it comes to social media, Hideki Kamiya is really not the best with maintaining a cool head, because he does have a very bad ego when it comes to being bombarded with questions from people on Twitter, which they're mostly things that other people have asked before. And, you know, I really don't blame him for getting tired of hearing the same questions over and over again, but at the same time, it's like, you know, it's one of those things that you're just gonna have to deal with. I mean, because you have such a great presence within the gaming industry, you're gonna be bombarded with people who possibly may have questions that they want to ask you. Now, would I say he's worse than Randy Pitchford, from my personal opinion? No, because with Hideki Kamiya, I respect him for putting out a fun game, and he usually does put out fun games that are filled with quality and, you know, content and a lot of replay value. But it's just a shame that a lot of the games that he works on, that they actually do tend to get crapped on by consumers because they don't get sold that well. Which I really hope for most of these games, with them coming out on the Switch, that they actually do get that second wind where they can actually, you know, sell well onto the system. Like, if I had to guess, I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe actually sold much better than it did on the Wii U. And, of course, with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Nintendo Switch. So let's just hope that with these games coming out on the Switch, they actually do well with that second wind. Like, if you ask me, I really hope that Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze and Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, they actually sell a lot better on the Nintendo Switch than they did on the Wii U. But yeah, Kamiya is a great game developer. That's one of the things that I respect him for. But when it comes to him comes to his personal mannerisms, like through social media, then I don't respect him for that kind of attitude. And when I was talking to 16-Bit Jeff, he said that he feels that Hideki Kamiya is worse when it comes to his ethics on Twitter than Hideo Kojima. But I would say, Hideo Kojima, he is the bigger egotistical individual, because for me personally, he's getting more and more ambitious with the games that he creates, and honestly, I'm getting kind of sick and tired of them. Because, I mean, I have no problem with ambition. I mean, ambition's a good thing unless if it's for a really good cause, but at the same time, it could actually be the Achilles heel for a lot of these developers. I mean, if you ask me personally, I am one of those people who did not really enjoy Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Because it was just pretty much Hideo Kojima just pretty much giving his big FU to Konami for the big problems that they've been having with their working relationship. But at the same time, you know, I can understand why he would do that kind of thing. But when you compare that game to all other developments, it's not the best thing that ever came out. If you ask me, Metal Gear Solid 1 and Metal Gear Solid 3 were the best ones that came out. Anyway, we're inside the farmhouse now, and this would be Paul. Yep, he's the one guy that we need to get that ingredient for to cure the common cold around Keldic. Ah, the Imperial Carrots, that's what they are. The Imperial as what Nintendo Capri Sun would say. That I think he got that reference from Karate Kid Part 2 when Daniel was in Okinawa with Master Miyagi. Like, there was one person who he talked to who couldn't even say the word carrots right, so whatever the guy was saying, whenever the guy tried to say carrots, he said Okay, so we got the Imperial Carrots. And now it's time for us to move on back over to the town, so that way we can report to the priest, and then we can get on with the required quests. Oh, and by the way, we might as well go ahead and take a look at Lunaria Nature Park. Now, granted, we'll just come up to the gate, but we can't really pass it, but I think it will be of great importance later on in terms of, like, one of the field studies or one of the quests that we come into contact with. This area seems kind of different from anywhere else we've been so far. Lunaria Nature Park, huh? Seems less like a park and more like a forest. More like a nature forest. But hopefully there are no bears in there! God, I need to let that go. Greg Wilmot is such an egotistical prick, it's not even funny. Money-grubbing, egotistical prick. Park Rangers. So we have Park Rangers here. So, is Yogi Bear causing you any trouble stealing picnic baskets that are inside that nature park? Eh? As you can see, the park's off limits right now. Yeah, I wonder why. Because of Yogi Bear, right? But then again, Yogi Bear was never in a Japanese mindset. It was in an American mindset from Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Oh, hey, Baboo. Would you like to come with me to steal a picnic basket? I'm just your above-average bear. Anyway, we're done here, so go ahead and destroy these, see if there's any items of any importance. So yeah, I'm destroying some of the crates and barrels, and there's treasure chests that you can find. If you need to gather materials and that kind of stuff, then definitely, by all means, don't be afraid to grab those. You know, the same people that made the famous anime and meme culture. Yep, R Kappa. And I know what R Kappa is, so thanks for pointing that out there, Flame Chocobo. They made some of the funniest jokes on there, too. Even though some of them can be a lot more raunchy than 4chan at times. I wouldn't be surprised if some of those people who are in the RKappa Discord, that they're actually from 4chan.
Here we go.
Ah, here we go.
Now's our chance.
I've got you. It's my turn. Turn to flames. Burn. Go.
Gotcha.
My turn.
Get some blue lullaby going here. Get them all sleepy if I can.
Of course.
Not everybody gets sleepy, but, oh well.
My turn.
Let's go ahead and get some arts on this guy. There we go.
Okay, it's safe for now.
Make sure you take advantage of some of those things, you know, within the battle on how you can actually defeat enemies and stuff, because they will save you a headache with actually trying to get more experience points. And there we see that our main Ornament Quartz actually got a level 2 for Reen and Elliot. So Reen's Force got a level 2, and there's an increase in some statistics, as well as one coming for Elliot. And we learned the arts, the arts called Impassion. And killing enemies restores CPs. 5 CP per enemy killed, and plus 10 CP per enemy killed. From 5 CP to 10 CP. Okay. Alright, and Cannon reached level 2. And there's an increase in status for him as well. And Tira, that will give a medium restoration rate of, you know, hit points that are taken away from characters. So amount healed multiplied by 1.25, and amount healed multiplied by 1.5, so 1.5 times the amount of how much one can be healed. Yeah, like I said from before, this game's learning curve is very steep. And that's something that I applaud Nihon Falcom's games, because they managed to maintain a steep learning curve in their games.
Here we go. There.
I can do this. Now.
My turn.
Oh yeah, the Taito games from the Flintstones games that were made by Taito on the NES. Yeah, I remember those.
Okay.
Some of them were actually not that terrible. Like, I remember playing Wacky Races, the Hanna-Barbera cartoon. There was a game that was made by Atlas on the NES that was based on Wacky Races, where you played as Muttley, or Mugsley, or whatever his name was, you know, who was the dog sidekick to Dick Dastardly. And their objective was to cause mischief for the other drivers during Wacky Races. And I think it's funny how South Park made that joke, where, you know, the whole episode where Timmy's, you know, transport services was actually in rivalry with another service that kind of did the same thing, but they actually did a race to see who actually had the better services. And they kind of did it in the vein of Wacky Races. It was just funny. $7 Granddad. Oh, I'll definitely need to look at that. Yeah, and I've seen some of Vine Sauce's stuff, and some of his stuff is actually pretty funny too. Like, I think the whole thing with the, you know, the Who's That Pokemon bit, where he thought it was Pikachu, but it was Clefairy, and he just yelled out the F-bomb really loudly.
My turn.
Right.
It was just so freaking hilarious. Aw, missed. You know, you can stop going for the same one. Rat bastard. Gosh. It's like one of those things you have to use magic for. I think so. Yep.
Oh, we did it.
Oh well. But like I said, after we take care of this, then we'll see if we can try to take care of the others. But if, you know, if I really need, if it's going to take too much longer, then we'll just save that for the next day. Because like I said, tomorrow morning I'll actually resume this again. Because I'm doing this for a weekend series.
I've got you. I can do this.
Oh, I want the arts.
Arcus activate.
Right.
Of course. Off guard.
I'll take you up.
Get him, Elliot! Yes! Alright. See if we defeat that. Yeah, with one turn. Very good. And we got through it unscathed, so we got 2 times experience points for our characters. Still not enough to get Reen and Elliot to level 11, though. You know, I'm really hoping that one of these days they actually make a new Lunar game that's kind of based on this battle system, because I think that would actually work if a new game were to actually be made. And you know, I heard that Gung Ho Online Entertainment, they're trying to revive, or trying to bring back some of their older IP, some of Game Art's old IPs onto digital distribution platforms like Steam, so it only makes sense that both the first game and the second game, whether or not if they're their original games or if through their PS1 remakes, that they actually release on Steam, so that way general interest in a third game can actually get underway.
My turn.
Because I don't even count Lunar Dragon Song as the third game in the franchise, because that game can die in a pit for all I care. That game was crap. And yeah, Flame Chocobo, I would also like to see Golden Sun on Switch, but seeing as how Camelot Software Planning is being contemplated to work on more Mario Golf and Mario Tennis games for Nintendo, it's really kind of a slim situation that they're in. And not to mention that Golden Sun Dark Dawn was not that great in terms of sales when it came out on the PlayStation, no, when it came out on the Nintendo DS, which you think it would actually do well when the system when the Nintendo DS was a massive success, but unfortunately, it just didn't even catch wind on the success that they were hoping for.
My turn.
But, you know, I would say never say never. Because that possibility could be possible. Oh, you are skeptical about Mario Tennis Ace? Oh, I can understand that, but for me personally, I think it'll be a much better game when compared to Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, because Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, yeah, bare bones game that was, you know, that probably should not have needed to happen. And, you know, I'm kind of happy that they're bringing back that RPG, that story mode, where it kind of has that similar vein of it being a JRPG. Which, the Mario Tennis and Mario Golf games on the Game Boy Advance, they actually were more famous for doing. But yeah, I wholeheartedly admit that they do look like better games. To you, feels like a Paper Mario Color Splash situation. Yeah, I could definitely see where you're coming from.
Same to you. That was great.
Because you were expecting them to go back to the traditional standards with how they did Mario Golf and Mario Tennis games with those RPG mechanics in the Game Boy Advance titles. And honestly, I agree. It would have been nice for them to continue that situation. You know, if Camelot Software Planning wants to continue sticking with their JRPG roots, which they should be, they shouldn't only be allowed to work on just Mario Golf and Mario Tennis games.
I can do this. Now.
Right.
My turn. Now.
I'll take you up.
I can do this. Fire! Go!
Right.
Got it.
Oh, we did it.
An unscathed battle for sure. Alright, looks like Reen got to level 11. I'm doing well in terms of his stats, too. Let's go ahead and fight this, Death Cargo. I guess that's what they're calling it. And yeah, Motoi Sakuraba is a great composer, too. But I think he does better when he's giving, when he's given the time and effort to actually work on a great soundtrack. Because you can actually see that his time with doing soundtracks in terms of the Dark Souls games, they're actually some of the best music that you'll ever hear. Whereas the first and second Golden Sun games, they actually were close to matching that same quality and style when compared to something like Dark Souls or Demon Souls, where the music was much more grand.
Is everyone okay?
Alright, so we got Elliot at level 11 too.
I did it.
Alright, since we're done here, let's go ahead and head on back to Celtic. There's that beautiful music, too. It kind of reminds me of the music from Trails in the Sky, the first one, the hometown where Estelle and Joshua Blight were living in. Kind of reminds me of that. But that was in a different country. But in this game, it takes place in Erebonia. And back in the older Legend of Heroes games, they kind of treated the country of Erebonia more or less as an antagonistic empire, but that's not fully the case when you play through this game and the others that are along the lines of the Trails of Cold Steel storyline. Bearclaw and the Imperial Carrots. And we got some Tira Bombs and Celestial Bombs. So they will come in handy, I think, for restoration of our HP and EP. Alright, so we got that quest down. Now it's time for us to take care of the more important ones. And there's the Arms and Orbital Factory. That was one of them that we actually needed to go through. One of the road lamps on the Western Highway stopped working the other day, and the cause of that is the orbit light inside of it breaking. So basically, I want you to go switch the broken orbit light for a new one. Speaking of which, here you go. So we have to go find the orbit light, and then we actually just switch it. So we're going back to the West Celtic Highway. Keep heading north until you see a place called Lunaria Nature Park. There's a windmill in front of it that you can't miss. The lamp's near there. Okay, so we're going to go over there. It'll have B-02 written on it. Near the wheel. Okay. And he says that... Wait a minute. This is Samus? But this is a male! So I guess... I really guess that Xseed broke the fourth wall with how a lot of people thought that Samus was a male when they played the first Metroid, but they realized that she was a female, but a lot of people didn't know that Samus was a female until they either played Super Metroid or Metroid Prime. Man. 466515. Oh, it actually repels monsters. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Any bright ideas? Yeah, I heard some people say, well, when going to Ys 3 Wonders from Ys, I know a lot of people said that that game was the weakest in the series, Flame Chocobo, but its remake, Oath and Felghana, was actually a much better game. Okay, so we still don't have any more U materials. But we can get rid of our Sepith Mass if we want to. So we can get some more mirror on us. I might as well go ahead and put some quartz in the armaments. Oh, we can increase our EP if we wanted to, so might as well go ahead and do that. Okay, so looks like everybody's okay for now with where they're standing in terms of the ornaments and stuff. Oh, was this the soundtrack conversion in the SNES version? That was part of the reason for its half-assed development? Or whatever? Yeah. Then again, even though there were third-party games that came out on the SNES, some of them didn't actually work that well. But at the same time, we were, you know, those of us who had a Super Nintendo were very fortunate to have those games. Oh, great, we're gonna be finding more of these chumleys.
Now's our chance. We can do this.
My turn.
I think we'll fix that thing, and then we'll call it quits for this episode, because I do have some stuff I need to take care of before the whole thing with where I do the collaboration with both Fighter Chaos and 16-Bit Jeff through the Geek Fighters later.
Of course. Hey! I can do this. Now!
Here we go. There.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, I got it.
It's safe for now.
And it's a double kill. Nice. And this would be a good spot for Elisa and Laura to actually get some level up. And, oh, so you're going to be playing through Contra Hardcore on the Sega Genesis through your Hard Games Month streams, huh, Flame Chocobo? I do have Contra Hardcore on the Sega Genesis, but the Sega Genesis controller I have is actually a third-party one. It's not an official one to where you can actually control the game much better, because I think it's one of those things where when I'm playing through that game with that controller, it doesn't allow me to actually shoot while I'm still moving, and that kind of does tend to ruin the experience with me trying to actually dodge myself from oncoming attacks and that kind of stuff.
Turn to flames. Burn! Go!
My turn. Huh?
That's that.
All right, got it. But you could actually move around and dodge from enemy attacks in that game, but you had to, like, press a button where you can only do it for a temporary amount of time.
Now's our chance.
Oh, Toho! The bullet hell shooters. Which I'm actually, speaking of Toho, I'm actually looking forward to that game when it comes out on the Switch. Through, you know, that NIS America stream that NIS America had not too long ago. I think it was last month, where they talked about upcoming games that they were putting out for this year. But that one called Happy Birthdays from the creator of Harvest Moon, that one actually has me kind of intrigued too.
Oh, we did it.
Okay, Laura levels up. Nice.
Not bad.
I like that bow on her head. Makes her look adorable. Does show more of her feminine side, even though she does tend to be strong. But it really does show her feminine side a lot better. I know a lot of people like to think of her as like the best waifu in this game than some of the others. Because of her deep voice and just her personality. And yeah, I definitely agree to that.
It's my turn.
My turn. Off guard. I'll take you up.
My turn.
Ooh. Damn.
Right. Let's go.
Alright, got him.
All right. Let's keep on moving.
Alright, now Elisa's got her level up to 11.
Nicely done.
Could have said that, could have timed that a lot better. Bad lip syncing right there to say nicely done. But then again, that's the thing with JRPGs like this. It's not on a really big budget. To where, I mean, the budget is huge, but not like on the size of what Final Fantasy XV's budget was like. So they can't really, they really don't have that manpower to do everything with like matching the lip syncing to what people are talking and that kind of stuff. And you can actually see that this game, it feels like it's along the lines of being a PlayStation 2 type of game. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Sonic Adventure type of lip syncing. Well, probably not that bad of lip syncing. I need to input the code. Yeah, it was this one. That should do it. Alright, got her open. And keep the monsters at bay. There we go. Got that one done in record time. Oh, you bet I did. And good thing it was a multiple choice type of experience, too. Okay, so it's time for us to go report back our progress. And then we'll do that, and then we'll call off this stream. Because like I said, I got some stuff I gotta go take care of before I get started with the other stream. You know what? Let's get into a few battles. You know, just to end off things in style. Because I think we did some pretty awesome grinding today.
I've got you. I can do this.
Pardon me.
My turn.
It's my turn.
Got him.
That takes care of them.
That was an unscathed battle. Yeah, it was good talking to you, Flame Chocobo. I think I do better when I stream at night, but at the same time, Jeff and I, we were actually talking firsthand because he wants to try to stream on Saturday night too. He wants to try to stream on Saturday too, so it kind of would conflict who would actually be streaming when. And you know, I understand that, but I kind of already had things set up in mind, but, you know, I decided to, you know, stray myself from actually doing that for today and just, you know, respect his wish. And trying to get some limelight for once. Yeah, I can't get both of them.
My turn. My turn. Hey! Now! I'll take you up.
Or, Flame Chocobo, I'm pretty sure that viewer might actually be me, because I'm watching the stream as well on my end. Well, just to see if I can actually watch the, comments.
Is everybody okay?
Yeah, we could help each other to see if we could try to get affiliates on our sides. More, or not affiliates, but more people watching our streams and subscribe to us so that way we can get more affiliates. Or not affiliates, but subscribers on our stream so that way we can get up closer to our status as an affiliate.
We can do this.
My turn.
Okay, let's go ahead and take care of this one. I think this will be the last battle for today's stream.
Right. Fire.
My turn. My turn. Huh? Now. I'll take you up.
Alright, I did a link kill.
You fought well, Ellie.
It's all I can do to keep up with you.
Alright. Am I using pop-out? No, I'm not. I'm just watching the comments. That's all. Anyway, let me go report my findings, and then I will save, and then just call off the episode there. Yep. Hardly a threat, yeah. Tell me about it. We were at a pretty good level, too, to take them down. And we got a new type of orb fragment called Detection that we can actually use. Alright, well, good to talk to you, Flame Chocobo. Hope you had a fun time watching my stream today. Hope to see you in the comments for tomorrow when I stream this game. Again, when we get back on track. But anyway, let me go ahead and go to the system, save. And then I will exit out of here. Yeah, and then give you all some final things that I want to mention. So anyways, yeah. I hope you all had a really fun time watching me do a live stream of this. I know I had a lot of fun getting some progress done. But as I said, I do need to go take care of some stuff. So I will be back around 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for when the Geek Fighters and I go live for where we continue our playthrough on Thousand Arms. And as I said about Double RPG side quests, it's going to be a weekday thing and not a weekend thing because I want to try to stream on weekends. And I'll also have this archived on YouTube, so that way you can all watch it if you're from there. And when I'm not streaming or working on that type of content, the Double RPG side quest content, then I'm currently busy working on the the retrospective, and I'm currently working on Final Fantasy Tactics at this time. If you like, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter. My Facebook fan page is RRPGReviews, as well as on Twitter. You can find me at RRPGReviews, which is my handle. So whichever social media site I use to post information, then you're going to find me on there. Also, be sure to stay glued on my YouTube channel for content that you'll actually see on there, like RRPG side quests, as well as the retrospective videos and whatever else I decide to make. Even maybe doing live streams on Nintendo Directs where I give off my live reactions. But we'll have to see what the next event that's going to come on where I do a live stream reaction for that. But anyway, guys, be sure to leave your comments in the comment section below, or leave your comments in the stream chat or on my YouTube channel, and as well as following me here on Twitch, so that way I can get some more people following me, and I'll be one step closer to getting affiliate status, because that's something I want to try to work on during this time, as me and the other members of the Geek Fighters are doing, so that way we can all try to do our best to get some limelight here on Twitch. But who knows? Hopefully we can actually get some more limelight, but I really hope that this year, which I do believe that is the year we're actually going to be making a break-in with our content, if we're going to meet that threshold with trying to get Twitch affiliate status, for us at least, as a group and as us individually. But hopefully fate doesn't really bite us in the ass, but you know, things could go either way. But if you enjoy my content on YouTube, then be sure to subscribe to it as well, because more support from you guys will mean that more content is going to come from me in the future that you're not going to find anywhere else. And also, be sure to join the Geek Fighters public Discord server. It's also going to be in the description of not only this highlight, but as well as posting it on YouTube, and I will have the link in the description for that as well. So anyway, guys, I will see you tomorrow morning for when we get back on track with Trails of Cold Steel, and we'll be going through some more of the field study exercises. So until tomorrow, guys, take care of yourselves. This is RRPG signing off, and I'll see you later. Peace out.